Welcome to Developmental Dialogues, the podcast where we dive deep into the psychology of human growth and explore how research shapes our understanding of behavior and development. I'm your host, Cornelia, and today we are delving into one of the most fascinating topics in developmental psychology: the role of mirror neurons in helping preschoolers predict actions and understand others' intentions. Joining me today is Mahnoush. Can we get a round of applause, please? She's a psychology enthusiast and student who has taken an in-depth look at this research and its media coverage. Mahnoush, welcome. Thank you so much, Cornelia. I'm honestly so thrilled to be here. Mirror neurons are such an exciting topic, and I'm eager to share how this research helps us better understand early childhood development. Okay, let's start with how this study reached the public. Mahnoush, can you summarize what the SciPost article titled "Young Children Anticipate Actions Through the Mirror Neuron System by Age 3" conveyed about the research? Absolutely. So the SciPost article highlighted a study showing that by age 3, children can understand and anticipate others' intentions thanks to mirror neurons. These neurons, which activate during both action performance and observation, enable early social understanding. So the study involving preschoolers aged 3 to 6 used muscle activation measurements to demonstrate that children's brains simulate observed actions, particularly when actions have specific goals like eating. So this early cognitive ability evolves into more complex social skills, such as mentalizing by ages 4 to 5. That is honestly so interesting. I would love to learn more. Now let's get into the specifics of the original study. What were the researchers investigating, and what did they hypothesize? Perfect! So the study investigated whether preschoolers ages 3 to 6 can intentionally organize motor acts and understand others' intentions through action observation. The authors hypothesized that preschoolers have this motor organization ability, but that their capacity to infer intentions develops gradually and is delayed compared to older children. That is a powerful concept. So who participated in the study, and what does that tell us about its focus? The study involved 18 neurotypical preschool children. The mean age was 4.31 years, and the standard deviation to that is 0.76. And it was from 2 kindergartens in Milan and Trichet, Italy. The age range was 3.08 to 6.01 years, and 40% of the participants were female, and all the participants were neurotypical and recruited with parental consent, which is really important. Wow, that is honestly quite interesting. What was the developmental design for the study itself? The study focused on age-related changes in intentional motor action and intention understanding. So the design was cross-sectional, comparing children of different ages within the specified range, rather than, observing the same individuals over time, so longitudinal, or conducting repeated short-term measures, so microgenetic. Okay, so what methods did the researchers use to test the hypothesis? I would love to learn more about the methods that they used. The study involved 2 conditions: execution and observation. In the execution condition, children performed 2 actions: grasping food to eat and grasping a piece of paper to place in a container. In the observation condition, they watched the experimenter perform the same actions. EMG activity of the myeloid muscle MH, responsible for mouth opening, was recorded using surface electrodes with actions divided into reaching, grasping, and bringing phases. Each action was repeated 30 times in randomized order. So the data were aligned using a start button and touch-sensitive plates and analyzed with GLM, General Linear Model, analyses to assess differences in MH activation across conditions, action types, and phases. So signal processing included filtering and segmentation for statistical evaluation. Oh my god, I have heard of EMG and MH, and those are very interesting, and I've seen them in shows and movies, but I want to know, what did the researchers find? What were the findings? I would love to learn more about that as well. The results were remarkable. These researchers found that preschoolers exhibited intentional motor chain organization with significantly greater MH muscle activation during eating actions compared to placing actions across all phases, so reaching, grasping, and bringing. In the eating condition, activation occurred earlier, indicating anticipatory motor preparation. During observation, MH activation was also greater for eating actions, but younger children displayed delayed activation compared to older children, reflecting an immature mechanism for understanding intentions. Additionally, younger children showed stronger MH activation during the observation of grasp to eat actions, and it was likely due to immature motor control. And these were really interesting that I found. I definitely predicted that the results were going to be remarkable. But how did the researchers interpret these results? I would love to learn more about that. The study concluded that preschoolers ages 3 to 6 are capable of intentionally organizing motor actions during execution, but exhibit delayed development in understanding others' intentions through observation. So this delay suggests an underdeveloped mirror mechanism for intention coding. Younger children showed stronger motor activation, likely due to immature inhibitory control, which improves with age. But overall, the study highlights that while preschoolers can identify what actions are being performed, their ability to infer why the actions are performed develops more gradually, aligning with the maturation of cognitive and, of course, motor systems. Let's talk about how the SciPost article differs from the original study. What misconceptions might arise from the way the media summarized the research? There are several key misconceptions, and they all stem from the media's tendency to simplify complex findings. So I'll just break them down one by one. The first one is interpreting correlation as causation. So the media article presents findings as if the mirror neuron system, MNS, directly causes anticipatory behavior in children, failing to clarify that the study demonstrates an association rather than a causation. Next is extending results to all children. The media article generalizes the findings to all children, including those with developmental disorders, even though the study focused solely on the neurotypical children aged 3 to 6. Next is the application across developmental stages. So the article suggests that these findings are universally applicable across developmental stages, ignoring that the study specifically highlights the gradual refinement of these skills over time. The second and last one of these misconceptions is the overlooking of the confounding variables. The media article does not account for potential confounding factors such as environmental influences, individual neural development differences, and context-specific behaviors, oversimplifying the findings. And lastly is the misleading headline of the media article. The headline inaccurately states that children can anticipate all actions through the MNS by age 3, failing to reflect the nuanced findings that younger preschoolers show delayed ability compared to older children. Those are significant misconceptions, but you also mentioned earlier that there are important limitations in this original study itself. Can you explain what those were and how they were or weren't communicated in the media article? Certainly. So the original study had a few notable, limitations, which weren't, adequately addressed in the SciPost article. The media report fails to convey critical limitations of the study. It does not address the small sample size, so 18 participants, and the exclusive focus on the neurotypical preschoolers or the context-specific nature of observed behaviors. So these omissions lead to misconceptions, such as generalizing findings to all children, including those outside the neurotypical range or younger than the study's participants. And also, like, the assuming the ability to anticipate actions develops uniformly and comprehensively by, age 3. And of course, there is the neglecting of the nuanced finding that the ability to recognize motor intentions during observation is delayed in younger preschoolers. I love how educational these information that you're relaying to us are educating us, but how do these findings translate to real-world applications, particularly in childcare and education? I would love to know the benefits and the risks when applied to childcare. Great question. The findings have both benefits and risks when applied to childcare. So, some of the benefits that could include is the findings can inform early childhood education by incorporating activities that involve action, observation, and imitation, which can enhance motor and cognitive and, of course, social development. There also could be therapists that can use these insights to develop interventions targeting the mirror neuron system to support children with developmental delays. And there are, of course, the risks as well. So, applying these findings without consideration of individual variability or additional validation could result in ineffective strategies that do not address the needs of all children. And another one could include is that implementing programs based solely on these findings might overlook the importance of other developmental factors, leading to, an unbalanced approach to childcare and education. It was great to hear both the benefits and risks when applied to childcare. I think that's very educational for, caregivers and parents and, of course, people who are guardians. But, Manush, this must have been a meaningful project for you. Can you share your personal reflections, please? I think our viewers would love to hear this. I would be honored to share my personal reflections. This experience was nothing short of transformative. I have always read both academic papers and media articles, but comparing them side by side felt like watching two worlds collide. These side post articles skimmed the surface, just a fleeting glance at the findings, while the original study was rich, like it was an intricate journey into the heart of the research. It humbled me. It honestly humbled me to realize how much depth and nuance are often lost in translation. It also awakened a deep sense of responsibility, right? To ensure that the complexity of psychology reaches the public in a way that's both accurate and accessible. And I reflected on this, and I just couldn't stop thinking about the children whose lives could be shaped by how research is interpreted and applied. Oh my God, it honestly filled me with clarity and purpose as a future, child psychologist and hopefully a neuropsychologist. I feel a profound duty to go beyond simply just understanding research. I want to critically evaluate it. I want to apply it ethically and use it to truly make a difference. I want to be able to help individuals with the research that I would be doing in the future. And the brain's complexities and their connection to development inspire and challenge me so deeply. This experience reminded me that every single study has the potential to transform lives, but only if we approach it with care, compassion, and critical thinking. My passion for psychology has deepened, and now, more than ever, I'm honestly committed to bridging the gap between research and the real world, to empower children and families. And this isn't just a career. This isn't just something that I would be doing as a job, that I would be getting paid for. This is my calling. I was born to be a child psychologist and neuropsychologist. I feel like God has put that on my path, and I want to go after it. That honestly touched my soul hearing you speak so passionately about your personal reflections. Thank you, Mahnush, for sharing your insights. To our listeners, remember, the journey from research to real world impact starts with understanding. Until next time. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.